Every now and again I have to come into London for social or working reasons, and as you come in on the train you see the grand buildings, the majesty of it all, the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey, St James's Park. And as well as the beauty of these things, you see a story, a history of a people, something which speaks to civilization developing in front of you, and I often think to myself, this all is quite amazing. Am I sure I think all the things I think about the modern world? But of course, it ends up being a bittersweet experience as the reality of London falls in on you hour after hour. It's like being in a section of a museum that's untouched by the mind virus of woke modernity, an oasis of true Britain in an endless desert of corrosive globalist liberalism which is waiting for you right outside the door. The reality is, of course, that London is no longer an English city. It's not even really a British city, let alone not even really a European city. Even the British experiences that are supposed to give a quintessential insight into what it's like in England are basically just created for rich American and Chinese tourists. What's essentially left of London is just a theme park of what it once was. White Brits, of course, only make up 36% of Londoners these days, and of course was told again and again that that's a good thing. And this is what you notice when you walk around modern London. The stench of weed is ever present. There always seems to be some Muslim event going on in and around Oxford Street. What they're complaining about or celebrating, who really knows? On top of that, you have the endless stabbings and every now and again a terrible terror attack, or at least the threat of one. The only way to survive modern London is either to make lots of money from it or simply to believe in the multicultural utopia. But of course, the only people who can really do that are the rich liberal elite who don't have to live with the consequences of mass immigration. And this is why every institution seems to be racist in modern London, from museums to the education system to even the police recently. Police that are so racist they've overseen a two-tier system when it comes to protests, tending to come down a lot harder on white working class people and ignoring it when Muslims throw the plates in waitresses' faces in restaurants in London. And if that's not enough for you, you have advertising campaigns such as this one on your screen. Hey, straight white man, pass the power! This essentially means that white British men shouldn't have power in Britain. Of course, this is patently absurd in modern London anyway, given that 18% of modern London is white, male and British, and then you have to add in the gay folks, and remember they all vote Labour anyway, so in terms of straight white men in London, it's probably about 1% of the population. And then the cost of living is so outrageous, you wonder how on earth anybody's actually managing it, let alone all those people from the third world. Hint, I dare say there's quite a few benefits and maybe underhanded businesses going on there. On that note, you've probably seen the preponderance of Turkish barbers and American candy style stores cropping up all over the place, including taking the place of the iconic HMV store outside Bond Street. But I'm sure it's just those migrants working so hard and people just love their American candy so much they can bankroll millions each year to maintain one of the most prime shop slots in the whole of the United Kingdom. But of course, notice any of this and you're evil and racist and blah blah blah, despite people now putting up tents outside some of the most prestigious addresses in London. But don't worry, Sadiq is back again and he tells us that he is here to answer hate with hope. Quite what that hope is, I'm not exactly sure. I guess it's something like less white people, less straight white men, that's for sure, more multiculturalism and pride parades and so on. But of course the tragedy of all of this here is that London really is gone. I just don't think it's salvageable anymore. We've seen a massive betrayal of London and the British people via our politicians over the last few decades. But anyway, the last part of England that survives really is outside of the cities. It's in the shires, in our ancient bucolic homeland. These are just some of my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.